Seeing it. So I just wanted to make sure that you didn't miss any content since you were gone Wednesday and Thursday, so that you could get caught up over the weekend. Um, so this is basically going over the italic or oblique form from an existing type and how you develop that. So you might choose to develop either an italic or a script. And so I want to show you how you can't do that, how you could do that from an upright form. So kind of taking a look through history, we have really a couple different forms. And so while cursive types, which is very similar to the script form here, were of a completely calligraphic origin, they have connecting strokes between the letters. The italics were a slight derivative of this style that was better suited to typesetting, as the italic letters do not actually connect. These non-connecting types maintains the calligraphic tendency to show the entry and the exit, which can be seen right here in the entry stroke of the M and the exit stroke in here, which is indicative of writing. So in essence, these forms create an implied connection. If we go to our Gestalt law that you learned in Design 100 class, if they are not allowed to continue, which accommodate for the limited advancement in typecasting at the time, because they would have had to have these as metal letters. Having this break between the forms actually enabled them to actually leverage the type technology at their original construction. Of course, today with open type technology, we're not limited to that. What I've done here is I've taken actually the Roman forms and I've obliquely skewed these just to show you how they connect and work and complement the truly pen-made italic forms in these. So you can have faux italics or faux obliques and italics. So a faux italic type is when a program automatically slants or skews the type mathematically. Unfortunately, some programs will apply this alteration without warning. By default, the italic file is not available. And what happens is kind of an ugly form because most italics are actually slightly compressed as well. So an oblique type is a form of type that slants slightly to the right. Oblique forms are usually slanted, sloped, or skewed type that has been redrawn to adjust for a smooth transition to curved form. Italic type is a semi-cursive form that follows the rhythm and basic construction of the Roman with slanted or skewed forms. So if we take a look at this form, this is actually the Roman type, and then I've mechanically skewed this. And so italics and oblique type will originate from the Roman form, and one can approach the creation of italic by skewing the Roman forms. But as this approach is applied, one quickly notices that problems arise. Some of these issues include increased apparent width, unbalanced form, stress alteration, etc. Now, if we can remember back to the italic forms when they originally were designed, they were actually designed and leveraged because they actually could allow more letters to fit in the same space, i.e. they were more narrow. But if you mechanically skew it, it actually makes them wider, and so it deviates the original intent. As opposed to italics, you can see this compression, so we can see a comparison between both the italics and the mechanical. And here we overlay those to actually take a look at this massive transformation between these. But one of the forms that we really have to pay attention to is that these forms are actually also, when we skew them, they also feel like they're going to fall over. So again, this is just kind of showing that grid line so you can see that comparison between these. Other challenges that arise mechanically skewing types is the transition points of curved to straight forms, which we can see right in here. And we can see that our bone effect is actually starting to become extremely apparent, even though it wasn't existing in our uppercase or our Roman form. We can see these in all these different spots in here. Lastly, it doesn't account for where parallel strokes actually don't appear to be parallel. And so this is an actual italic font in the IF, and we see the I and the F actually don't follow the same line. And it's because of the weight form that's existing off this branch. And so you actually have to alter this, and you have to alter this in several different types of characters. Also, the M and the N have a similar occurrence. But more importantly, this is what's happening, that the letters feel like they're going to fall or tip over. And so how do we, apply this in other forms? Well, if we actually take the lowercase n, we can actually see in this one I've drawn the forms where both of these strokes are exactly mathematically parallel to each other. But the problem is this leg here, or this foot here, feels like it's slipping upon ice. And so in this form, I've actually skewed the type slightly to give it an optical parallel look or optically aligned look. And then in here, I've overdone or over-exaggerated to make it get too much of a transition. And so that's just a quick way to kind of show you how those forms work together and how you can use your Roman forms to actually build an italic